Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Jen Antunes and I have been an Avon independent sales representative for exactly 5 years today. That's right, 5 years. I am celebrating my 5th anniversary today. Now, all summer long I have been sharing my tips, ideas, and tutorials on how to start, grow, and manage your own successful Avon business every Tuesday, but this week. Now, in honor of me celebrating my 5th anniversary, I decided to take this time to reflect and share with you my journey of how I started my Avon business and how I got to where I am today. So, for those of you who are new here, I am a single mom of 4 boys, and thanks to my Avon business, I am able to financially provide for my family and create a work life that fits around my boys' schedule. Now, so far in 2020, I have reached Honor Society with over $20,000 in sales, and 90% of it being online. I've reached Gold Ambassador, and I am working with representatives all across the U.S. as they start their own successful Avon businesses. And on top of all that, at the close of campaign 15, I earned the all-inclusive trip for 2 to Destination Avon to the Dominican Republic in April of 2021. Little did I know 5 years ago today, when I decided to start my Avon business, that I would be where I am today. Now, to give you a little bit of a backstory so you kind of understand where I've come from. In 2015, I was married and we had a beautiful blended family with 5 children. Yes, 5 children. The way it was made up was my husband and I each had 2 children from a previous relationship, and at that time we had 1 together. You'll see why I'm saying at that time. Now, we had 4 boys and 1 girl, and they were 14, 12, 12, 9, and 7 at the time. Now, in 2015, I was recently let go from my full-time job at an OBGYN office, and I had decided to stay at home for a little bit. Now, the plan was I was going to go back to work once the kids started up school again in the fall. I mean, let's face it, raising 5 children, it gets expensive. But to be honest, I didn't want to go back to work for a lot of reasons. The main one was that I didn't want to miss out on my kids growing up. So I started looking around, doing what I do, research different ways that I would be able to kind of get the best of both worlds, where I can work and earn money, but be able to do it at home. Now, at this time, I kept seeing this Facebook post or ad, I'm not sure what it was, but I kept seeing it, and it talked about all these opportunities that allowed you to work from home. Most of the companies that were shown on the image, I never heard of. But there was one company that I did know of and I was familiar with, and that was Avon. I personally had loved what we call now the Avon Senses shower gel and body sprays. Like, whenever I would see them, I would pick some up. Also, I knew there were quite a few family members and friends that really loved Avon, whether it was their skincare, a fragrance that they loved, their lipstick, lipstick. Like, everyone had their favorite Avon product. So, I decided to contact this person and see what it was all about. As I'm sure you can put together, I scheduled a time for us to get together, and of course it was on August 12th, 2015. Now, I remember driving in my car, going to this meeting, being so nervous. You ever have that, like, feeling or sensation when, like, your whole body is just telling you, like, this is where you're supposed to go. This is what you're supposed to be doing. In spite of, like, all the negative talk that you give yourself, like, oh, this is not going to work out, and why are you doing this? And in spite of all that, like, your instincts, your gut feeling is telling you that this is right. And that is what I was going through on my way to this meeting, and even throughout the meeting as I was going over everything. Like, something just told me that this was my calling. I remember walking out of that meeting just so excited, so motivated, so ready to just, like, take on the world. So, rest of that day, I remember going home and just, like, working on my brochures and getting everything ready. So when I saw my family the next day, I would be ready to go. Remember, I told you I had some family and friends that loved Avon? Well, they did, and they were so excited to be able to have an Avon representative that they knew and that they would be able to start ordering from on a regular basis. I actually ended up walking away from that family event with 3 orders. Now, of course, that just motivated me even more. So I did everything I could to start this amazing new business I was creating. I mean, I was posting all the time on Facebook. I was talking to everyone I know about my business. I even asked a couple of family members to bring some brochures to work and to share with their friends. Even one of my uplines invited me to go to an event with her, and she kind of showed me the ropes a little bit, and I actually ended up getting some customers out of there as well. So I was doing really well. I was actually doing so well that I had a couple of friends that actually were interested in starting their own Avon business, and they ended up joining under me, which I probably have to say was probably a big mistake. Because soon after that, everything just went to the pooper. I was just so overwhelmed. I was trying to go from down to the bottom to being a top representative, and I didn't have the patience to go through the process to get to what the vision I had in my head. I wanted it right then and there. But remember, I'm raising 5 children, I'm married, and I did have many around me look at my business as more of a hobby and not as a business. So I had to kind of deal with that type of negativity. Now, the beginning of 2016, my husband and I had decided to move because the neighborhood we were currently living in was starting to go downhill, like bad. We couldn't even go to the park that was behind our house anymore, and it was getting bad. But with us moving to a nicer neighborhood, we ended up moving into a smaller apartment, and on top of that, my stepson, my husband's son, came to live with us full time, and on top of that, surprise, I found out I was pregnant. that's not even the worst of it. For the next 10 months of my life, I basically was either nauseous or throwing up. That was basically my life. About 5 days a week, I would be sick. It had gotten so bad that I had actually started losing weight while I was pregnant. Thankfully, we had a beautiful, healthy 8-pound baby on October 31st, 2016. But as you can imagine, during my pregnancy, I was not able to really work on my business. And because I really had not established a strong base yet, it kind of started dwindling down fast. So, a couple months before I was due to have our baby, my husband actually ended up losing his job. Thankfully, he was able to collect unemployment, but that was just basically going to be enough to pay the bills and not anything else. So that's when I decided I need to figure out a way to do my Avon business because I'm getting tired of this. I want to be able to financially make a good contribution to our family so we can live comfortably, and I gave myself a 1-year timeline, and if it did not work out within that 1 year, then I was going to go and find a job outside the home. So with me about to have a newborn and it going into the Massachusetts winter, I knew I was not going to be able to go out and do deliveries and do events like before. And on top of that, I wanted to create a business that I was going to be able to work more easily around my children's schedule and around my soon to becoming newborn schedule. So, being me, I began researching on how to transition or how to create a online business. That's when I started following Emily Seagren, and on top of that, I actually started following some beauty influencers to kind of see what's trending and be up to date on what's hot in the beauty industry. So I started following beauty influencers like Kristen Dominique, Beauty Bird, and Jacqueline Hill. And on Friday nights, I would start listening to Molly Stone Bibb's conference calls, and I just really started doing the research and creating a plan on how I was going to transition my business to being primarily online. And in doing so, a passion was sparked within me, and I was so excited to get going and started. So in September 2016, I started my blog, Journey of an Avon Mom. I created this blog as a space for my customers and other representatives. At the time I didn't have a team, but I knew in the future I was planning on having one. So it would be a place for them to all be able to come and learn more about buying and selling Avon. And through this, I had decided that I was going to kind of change up on how I promoted my business. I did not feel right. Like, it didn't sit well with me being, one of those, lack of a better word, pestering sales reps. I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to bother people. I wanted to promote my business through teaching and through being a good example of what it's like. Whether it's being an example of what a product looks like or being an example of how to create an Avon business. Now, just like with any other online business, my growth was very slow. I would say probably the first 6 months I really didn't notice anything. It was no changes at all. But I stayed consistent. I kept putting out blogs because I knew upon doing my research that I needed to be consistent and I needed to keep at it because it was eventually going to work. Now, in the spring of 2017, I started noticing that I was getting a little bit more followers and I was starting to get a little bit more of online orders. Now, what this did was it showed me that what I was doing was starting to work. But the thing is with having a newborn and raising a family, and in the summer of 2017 we moved again to the house that we're in right now, and I just was having a hard time focusing, having a hard time being consistent, and as I said, I had people around me making sure they let me know their opinions of my Avon business not being an Avon business. It's just a hobby. Why are you wasting all that time and all that money doing that? You should be doing that, using that money or using that time for this. So by the fall of 2017, it had come up to my year deadline, and I decided that it just was not worth the struggle and the fighting and just the negativity that was coming from it. And coming from those around me. And it's kind of hard to say to people, I know that I'm going to be successful at this. I know it's going to work out, when I really didn't have the numbers to kind of back me up. Yeah, I was making sales, but it wasn't, like I said, anything substantial enough to, I guess, convince those around me. It convinced me, but not those around me. So in the fall of 2017, I stopped promoting my business. I stopped working on my blog. I stopped submitting orders. I was just gonna let my account close, and at the beginning of the year I was just gonna go and find a job. I was giving up, and it killed me. I remember those few months like missing it. I'm gonna start crying. I couldn't find a way to make everyone happy, I guess, in a sense. I hope I am crying. In December of 2017, as I said, I was giving up. I wasn't gonna work on it anymore and was just gonna move on. It was, I guess I was wrong in a sense. But my angel, I really do believe she's my angel, because I was going down a different path, and she brought me back. My upline, Terry Kolodzic, I don't know why I'm crying, out of nowhere messaged me and let me know that I had some earnings through my online sales. The thing is in order, at that time, in order for me to get the earnings deposited into my account, I needed to place an order by a certain date, and she was calling to let me know. And I didn't believe her at first. I'm like, what is it, like $20, $30? I don't remember exactly what the number was, but I know it was a substantial amount. Like, I do know it was enough for me to have that spark reignited, and enough for me to be able to convince those around me to be able to give it one more shot. So, I mean, I am so thankful for what Terry did that day, because since then my business has grown, and it was what got me through the hardest year of my life, which I know was right around the corner. So, going into 2018, as I said, I spoke to my family, and I explained to them what I had to do and what I needed from them to be able to support me in that. Our older 5 kids were old enough to kind of be more self-sufficient and independent, so that was a big help. So I was able to start being consistent and created a routine, and as a result, my business just grew. The first 6 months of 2018, it was just slowly, steadily growing. And then in June, now I went from never having reached President's Club at all yet to reaching Honor Society within 3 campaigns. So what ended up happening was in campaign 12 of that year, I ended up selling $7,000 in one campaign. And then in campaign 13, I sold over around about 9,500, around there. And then in campaign 14, I sold over 1,500. So those 3 campaigns, I had almost $19,000 in sales. And once again, the majority of them were all online. I mean, when this happened, I just could not believe it. I mean, that's when I knew it. I was like, I'm gonna make it. I am going to do it. I am going to reach my goals and have this business be able to provide for my family and give them a life that I've always wanted to give them. But sadly, God had other plans for me. Shortly after that, I started having health problems, and I started getting sick a lot. I was always tired. I was fighting a cold all the time. I mean, I was doing everything I could to just suck it up and keep on raising my family. And at the time, my marriage was starting to fall apart, so I was trying to keep that on track. And I look back on it now, and I really don't know how the hell I got through it or how I did it. I was just so busy with everything that was going on, and my health just kept getting worse. I mean, I remember Christmas that year, my neck actually swelled up. It was like this welt on the side of my neck. And I remember putting my hair down to try to hide it so my kids didn't really notice. And I just kind of chalked it up to being like an abscessed tooth or something. And as usual, I kept saying I'll deal with it later when I have time. later came on January 17th. My son's birthday. It was his 13th birthday. I ended up going to the ER, and after spending about 5 nights there and undergoing a few weeks of biopsies, CT scans, lab work, the whole works, February 5th I received the phone call that I had cancer. That was probably the worst day of my life. I didn't have time to have cancer. My kids were depending on me to, take care of them. And you know what's the kicker of it all? The night before I found out I had cancer, I got the news that I actually qualified to go to the President's Recognition Program celebration that year in April to Maui, Hawaii. Yeah. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? My first Avon trip that I earned, I couldn't go. My first opportunity to be recognized among my peers for my success that I accomplished in 2018. I couldn't experience it. I am thankful though, because Avon, I contacted them and they were understanding. They were very supportive. I even received flowers from Lorianne Goldman, who was the CEO at the time. Okay, I'm going to try to get myself together. I did not expect to get this emotional. So my camera cut off in the middle of finishing up this video. So hopefully it gave me some time to calm down and not cry the rest of this video. So sorry for being super emotional. Now, continuing where we were. So, I started undergoing chemotherapy treatments on February 14th, 2019, and I was expected to do these every other week until my last treatment was July 17th, 2019. The first couple treatments were bad. I mean, in regards to side effects. The biggest one that hit me, surprisingly, was my hair falling out. I remember crying in the shower with hands full of... Alright, I'm not going to get emotional. I had, at this time, informed my customers, let them know that what was going on, and kind of give them a heads up that I'm not going to be able to work my business on a consistent, regular basis like I was doing, at least not until my chemotherapy treatments were done. I would try to work while I was getting chemotherapy, but as time went on, the side effects began hitting me. Like, even while I was getting chemotherapy, I would remember getting just so tired. I couldn't even keep my eyes open. Just laying there, feeling so helpless, wanting to only sleep. Sadly, in March of 2019, my husband and I separated and ended up ending our almost 13-year marriage. They say when a person hears that big C word, it's like a switch goes off in their head, and the way that they view the world around them is different. And that's exactly what happened to me. I have to say, any doubts that I had about whether or not I was doing the right thing or not, once I heard I was going to be spending the next 6 months fighting for my life, I knew that I had to make changes in my life, and I had to do a lot of soul searching and figuring out what I wanted once it was all said and done with. And I have to say, those dreams and my future for myself and my boys, that's what got me through 2019. Along with my amazing customers who continued to support me and were just so understanding through all of it. And because of their support, they helped me financially survive during the hardest year of my life. And my family ended up stepping in, and they helped a lot with my children and housework and just the normal responsibilities of being a mom and an adult. And without them, I would not have had the time I needed to heal mentally, emotionally, physically, with everything that I had gone through. It was a lot. Cancer and separating from my husband, and it was a lot of soul searching and trying to figure out what I wanted. Now, I am a year in remission. I'm still struggling with fatigue, and that neuropathy tends to like to sneak in once in a while. And I finally lost the majority of the weight that I had gained due to the medication I was on for the neuropathy. Yeah, I know. I'm probably the only patient that gained weight while being on chemotherapy. I had gone into 2020 with goals set for my business and what I wanted to accomplish, and I am so close to achieving them already. And personally, I wanted to create a life where I'm going to be able to provide my boys a family life of making memories and us working together and supporting one another and us becoming our best selves. And that's what we're doing, even in spite of COVID-19. I did not expect it to go like this, and I am sorry for all of my emotions. I am usually not a crier. I hope I did inspire you to never give up, no matter what it is. It doesn't even have to be an Avon business. Whatever your dream is, whatever you want to accomplish in life, you can do it. Don't let anyone or anything stand in your way. It's your life, your dreams, your happiness. You're the one who is in control of what you want it to be. Thank you so much for watching and for putting up with all my emotions. Now, before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell down below. And if you did find this inspiring or you enjoyed yourself, please make sure you hit that like button, and feel free to talk about what your dreams and what you want to accomplish in life down in the comments below. Now, next Tuesday, I will be back onto my regular schedule, and I will have a new Tuesday training video up for you. This week, you can expect at least one, maybe two, depending on when I get my BoxyCharm box. Until then, I hope you have a wonderful week, and remember, be kind to yourself and to others. Bye.